The Saskatchewan Power Corporation presents its head office story.
The Saskatchewan Power Corporation's new head office building at the corner of Regina's Scarth and Victoria is what might be termed a unique achievement, not only for the 13 stories of brick, concrete, and steel which project a major change in Regina's prairie skyline, but for the fact that this towering skyscraper of gleaming gold and green is more than just a building. It represents a milestone in the career of local architect Joseph Pettick, who was awarded the design contract. It represents a hard-won battle for the Power Corporation's general manager, David Cass-Biggs, who stuck to his guns for a Power Corporation head office building that was more than just a square box. And for the corporation itself, the building is yet another stepping stone in its development journey across the face of the province. Boldness, imagination, and courage were welded together to perform the architectural feat that has been accomplished with the completion of the SPC's new head office building. It has been heralded as an outstanding contribution to Regina's skyline, with its flowing concrete shell curving gently across the choice piece of real estate on Regina's Scarth and Victoria. But boldness, imagination, and courage are qualities that have been inherent in the growth of the Saskatchewan Power Corporation. It was back in 1949 that the corporation first began to spread its wings. First, there was the development of Saskatchewan's southeastern coal fields, boasting a lucrative supply of 100 million tons in the corporation's field alone. Officials said that it's the cheapest source of fuel on the North American continent. The result of the SPC's coal field development program, Boundary Dam.
Boundary Dam near Estevan is actually the nerve center of the corporation's southern transmission system, since all functions of substations in the Pasqua, Regina, Weyburn, Estevan, Yorkton, and Melville area can be controlled by remote equipment from Boundary Dam. However, the SPC's entire system is integrated on the loop principle as well. This means power can be taken from any point and transmitted to any other point in the province. Boundary Dam is one of these control centers, while the other overall control is located in the Queen Elizabeth Station in Saskatoon. Construction of the Queen Elizabeth Station began in 1956. 2 years later, the first generating unit was placed in service. The plant was necessary because electrical consumption was increasing at approximately 20% each year, which required the generating capacity to be doubled every 4 years. The SPC chose Saskatoon because of its strategic location as the hub of the northern load area of the corporation system. As we mentioned, the Queen Elizabeth Station is connected to the Boundary Dam Station at Estevan by two main routes, one at Pasqua and Regina, the other through Wolverine and Yorkton. This means there can be an interchange of power between the northern and southern systems, an advantage which plays an important role in the complete integration of provincial generating facilities.
Another major facet of the SPC's growth has been natural gas development. It was back in 1952 that the benefits of natural gas first began to be felt by the consumer. Today, the corporation can boast 100,000 customers in 155 communities, including all of the major cities in the province. Farm electrification started as an infant with 1,000 rural customers some 14 years ago. Today, 60,000 farms shed their warm light in a glowing panorama across the province.
Then the corporation adopted an audacious air. Officials decided to divert the course of Canada's fourth largest river, the swift-flowing Saskatchewan, in the northern part of our province, and harness its mighty resources to man's use. The number 1 unit at Squaw Rapids Hydroelectric Station went online in April of this year. Today there are 4 turbines in operation, and power from each of the 33,500 kilowatt turbine generators flows into the provincial grid transmission system for use throughout the province. However, the staggering facts still to come indicate when all 6 turbines are installed and in operation at Squaw early in 1964, the plant will be able to produce approximately 1 billion kilowatt hours of electricity in an average year.
In 1961, the Power Corporation eyed yet another frontier, the frozen reaches of northern Saskatchewan and the erection of power lines into its remote communities. These have been extended as far as Buffalo Narrows and Isla Lacrosse. Officials attempt these projects because SPC can proudly point to a growth factor head and shoulders above the national average of 5%. SPC's average is 20%, and according to economists, will continue at this rate for years to come. And just as the SPC integrated an efficient natural gas and electrical system all over the province, officials turned their sights towards integrating all departments involved in the corporation's immense projects. Regina was chosen as the head office site. The weighty problem of accommodating some 800 employees was turned over to architect Joseph Pettick, and the corporation's general manager, David Cass-Beggs, convinced his board of directors their head office building should be outstanding, not only from a point of design, but also in its functional capabilities.
Mr. Cass-Beggs, what caused you to depart from the conventional shape of the rectangular or square building for this shape of an administrative building?
Well, I think we should keep to the traditional shape only if it fits in with the needs of the present day. We had a particular site in view, and this building is shaped to fit it. It is, we hope, a beautiful building, and this meets our needs.
There has been some criticism that the building is expensive and not functional.
Oh, it's functional enough. We specified our requirements, and the building is developed to meet our needs. It fits the site, and it provides the accommodation we wanted. As to cost, the figures will speak for themselves. It's an economical building in cost per square foot.
I understand, Mr. Cass-Beggs, that you are going to encourage public tours of the building.
Yes, this is a public building, and we want the public to feel that it is theirs and to come and visit us. Initially, we'll be putting on organized tours, and we hope that they will join us and look over this building.
Well, this is certainly a very colorful rotunda, Mr. Cass-Beggs, and I must admit in direct contrast with the wheat-colored brick of the exterior. Tell me, what caused you to choose this mosaic of color?
Well, the wheat color picks out the prairies of Saskatchewan, and this blue and green represents perhaps the colors of northern Saskatchewan. It's applied in brush strokes almost, so it looks like a painting of the north.
The first floor of the Saskatchewan Power Corporation's head office is devoted, as many other office buildings are, to administering to the needs of the local populace. It's just a step inside the front door to the cashier's wickets, and the matter of bill paying can be dispensed with in minutes. But most customers are disposed to linger and enjoy the colorful, unique rotunda with its kaleidoscope of color and darting goldfish in a quiet pool. The ground floor also houses a massive and complicated switchboard. A trio of operators are kept busy handling on the average of 400 calls an hour. And they cheerfully admit a variety of inquiries, which they efficiently parry off to the multi-departments concerned with the problem. The second floor is sure to be of interest to the corporation's customers. It houses the employees who calculate the amount of your gas bill. After gas meter readers determine the amount of gas used, their books are turned over to the tabulating department. Here, some 20 calculator operators are kept busy, since they not only determine customers' billings, but payroll orders and other accounting procedures for the corporation's many departments. The results of the calculations are passed on to the billing machines, where white-shirted young men keep a watchful eye on the wizards of the 20th century, huge IBMs. theirs is the gigantic task of making sure the corporation's 300,000 customers get their gas bill every month. And to tie the whole operation together for the consumer, the mailing department. Actually, the basement of the SPC's new head office has been converted into a miniature post office. There are tons of mail to be processed every day, plus hundreds of parcels, circulars, and job bulletins. A driveway right into the heart of the basement facilitates deliveries, and there is no congestion along either Scarth or Hamilton Street. In another section of the basement, a miniature printing shop. The duplicating section keeps its machines clicking many hours every day as thousands of information sheets, advertising circulars, and the like find their way into the consumer's envelopes.
On the 6th floor is a department without which the Power Corporation could not function. Their gas control room, which operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
The array of dials and charts gives a complete picture of the amount of gas flowing in the various SP lines all over the province. Take, for instance, the Steelman-Nottingham area in southern Saskatchewan. It is capable of providing 20 to 25% of the provincial consumption, but most of this gas is earmarked for the Regina-Yorkton area. Altogether, there are 1,400 miles of main transmission line, which keeps crews busy, especially if there's a sudden cold snap or a change in the offing. Pressure must be built up in the lines before any increased loads can be serviced. To make sure the SPC is ready, the gas control room officers are serviced with a 72-hour forecast from the Regina Weather Office. As well, there's a daily weather report so that systems can be determined 24 hours in advance.
There is criticism over any new building. In the SPC's case, however, there is surprisingly little unfavorable reaction from the people who occupy the building and are usually the most vocal, the employees. They're enthusiastic over the exciting design of their new skyscraper.
Very nice, very nice. I think that everybody should have the chance to work in a building such as we have today. It's perfect for the customers, and where I'm situated on the main floor, it's very nice indeed.
Oh, as payroll supervisor, I find it very convenient. We're all under one roof. Otherwise, I had 14 other locations to go to. So it makes a very much easier job for myself.
Compared to what we used to have working before, it's a lot more convenient and a lot brighter.
This sort of reaction, of course, delights the man who designed the building, architect Joseph Pettick. Mr. Pettick has acquired an outstanding reputation as an imaginative and definitive architect. He recently won a Massey Medal for outstanding design, has represented Canada at numerous worldwide meetings on architecture, and his services are now in demand all over the country.
Mr. Pettick rented premises in Regina's other skyscraper, the McCallum Hill building, a scant block from his multi-million-dollar project, especially so he could watch the construction progress of the SPC building.
Mr. Pettick, are you satisfied with the building?
I don't think that any designer is ever entirely satisfied, but the building has turned out to be a very functional unit. It has been an economical building to construct, and the quality of workmanship, I think, is above average, so I think we have reason to be satisfied with the building.
What made you settle on the final design?
Actually, it's an outgrowth of the problems of the site, the circulation on the ground level, and the efficient working unit for office usage. And these factors, when you combine them, dictated certain things. For instance, the economical clear span width of steel dictated the overall width of the building. The curved shape with the main face towards Victoria Park was designed, of course, to take advantage of the view to a certain extent.
Was the curvature of the building limited to any extent the placement of desks or cut down on the utilization of space in the various offices?
No, not to any extent. The modular coordination of window dimensions and ceiling, lighting, and partitioning dimensions has eliminated any problems in this regard. Let's go back to the building and see how this is working on site.
The flexibility of the interior partitioning also means there can be complete changes within the offices or whole offices moved without any major revision to heating or air conditioning. SPC officials also devoted a work situation module for every floor of the building, which is essentially the space required for one clerk's workstation. If they wish to move a desk and chair, the space can be occupied with a grouping of file cabinets, and there isn't any disruption to the overall office area. Consequently, the employees will never suffer from overcrowding, since initial space requirements were known and met when they moved in.
Actually, there's an intriguing story behind the move to the new Saskatchewan Power headquarters, and the man we're going to talk to now is the author of that story, Murray Leach. Murray is the head of the SPC building department, and if you think moving from one house to another is a headache, try the coordination for moving 800 employees scattered in 11 different locations throughout Regina without interruption to their work or service to the public. And the fantastic part of the whole operation is that the entire SPC family was moved for $8,800, approximately $5,000 below the lowest tendered moving price. Murray, how far in advance did you have to plan for this move?
Warren, the move has always been part of our overall planning for the building. About 1 year ago, the planning became serious on the move when we coordinated lease agreements to coincide with completion of construction.
We understand you utilized a rather unique plan which made the move fairly simple and cut the actual cost by some $5,000 below the average tender price.
Yes, Warren, the system of planning used in the new building is what is referred to as a workstation module system. On this, we basically divide the entire building up into standard units of space, each of which is capable of accommodating a desk and a chair. To this, we have added the office complex necessary to the space and then applied the general office desks, chairs, and filing cabinets. On this basis, we have also left growing space in full-size modules for future utilization in the building.
Did the shape of the building, particularly the pronounced curvature, limit you when it came to the placement of furniture?
No, the basic building dimension was designed with office utilization in mind. You may note that it has 5 rows of work modules in the full width of the building.
Another vital link in the SPC chain is the drafting and blueprinting department. Close to 60 draftsmen are kept busy drafting plans for various projects. Any job that is undertaken must first pass through their hands and the plans carefully filed. Take gas construction for a new housing subdivision right here in Regina. It must be surveyed and all the facts put down on paper before the first earth-moving machine breaks the sod. This procedure holds true for the thousands of other projects the SPC has in the works for Saskatchewan communities. And therefore, an integral part of the operation is the blueprinting department. There must be a transformer plan for the gas system in every city, town, and village. 900 have been documented and blueprinted so far, but the number is growing as the corporation continually expands.
One of the reasons is the SPC's latest brainchild, Cotto Creek.
The design department is responsible for this project's birth, although it's actually an extension of the SPC's latest job that was completed earlier this year, Squaw Rapids. Design artists were responsible for painting the exciting picture of Squaw which led officials to sanction the SPC's first hydro scheme. Now they are turning their attention to Coteau Creek on the South Saskatchewan River near Outlook, where in the winter of 1967-68, another major hydroelectric power development will join the system following completion of the South Saskatchewan River Dam. We're nearing the top of the SPC skyscraper on our film tour. This is the 12th floor, housing administration officials, boardrooms, and meeting areas. This is one of the floors included in the public tour of the building, even to getting a peek at the general manager, Cass Begg's office. There's an air of quiet efficiency about the floor, heavily carpeted, and the only occasional sound of a typewriter or the click of a boardroom door opening and closing to mar the silence. Once again, the complete versatility of the rooms with their movable partitions have been demonstrated. If you've ever wondered what Regina looks like from a high vantage point, here is your opportunity. Winter, summer, spring, or fall, the observation deck on the 13th floor of the SPC's new head office will be open to the public. It has been designed so there will be a view of the city on 4 sides. To make the deck comfortable in cool weather, SPC engineers will install infrared heat. A dual purpose will be served since the equipment will be open to inspection by industrial clients. The main entrance to the observation deck features a display wall for photography exhibits or to serve as a miniature art gallery. The area will also serve as a pleasant respite for employees on their way to and from the cafeteria, also located on this floor. It seats 250 and is ideally located to afford employees a view of the prairie skyline. The latest plan is to develop a staff program for the noon hour, which will feature films of Saskatchewan's development or allow the employees to stage hi-fi sessions. The employees have been high in their praise of the tasty meals and delicious coffee brewed by the staff of Art Smith from Saskatoon. He held the successful tender for the cafeteria job. Most agree they'll end up with extra pounds, but with this array, who can blame them? The SPC kitchen is every homemaker's dream. It's all stainless steel and was designed as a showpiece for the restaurant trade with special emphasis on the gas and electrical features. Those stainless steel steamers are enough to delight any chef, and consequently, the kitchen staff also cater to any clients who wish to hold board meetings in the new building. A compact auditorium is just around the corner. It will seat 150, but also features a demonstration kitchen for the corporation's home economics branch. Nerve center of the whole operation is located, surprisingly perhaps, on the top floor. First, the boiler room, where intake equipment dispenses washed and filtered air throughout the building. Air conditioning and heating is so individual, there are separate controls for each floor. The controls are situated in a separate studio on the 14th floor. Here, engineers, with a mere flick of the switch, regulate floor temperatures to coincide with the employees in that particular area. The control room also contains a public address system should an emergency arise or management wish to make a major announcement.
Now that you have seen the Saskatchewan Power Corporation's new head office building on film, we would like you to come and tour it personally. We are sure there are many aspects of the building that are quite interesting and unique. Consequently, we have arranged for public tours on any weekday evening between 5 and 7. As you may have noticed, the observation deck on the 13th floor will provide you with many views of Regina. The deck will be open both winter and summer to accommodate photographic enthusiasts.
The Saskatchewan Power Corporation has presented its head office story. Your photographer has been Vic Bull. Audio by Bill Stevenson. Sound engineer Dave Wallace. Directed by Len Ross. Lighting by Henry Susie and Jim Wallace. Your commentators have been Garth Dolly, Warren Knox, and yours truly, Bruce Cowie. Produced for television by Betty Niesner Oxman.